Now, why don't you tell me a little bit about, let's talk about the physical changes first that you've noticed in your body since starting to do some work with me. First, tell me what had you seek me out in the first place? What was going on?
Yeah, so I guess the short story is that I was getting sick around my period every month, like really sick to the point that I was in bed with a migraine and fatigue, and just it looked like I had the flu, and just pretty much useless. And so I finally went to my doctor about it, and her suggestion was to go on to test out some different birth control pills.
Yeah.
To see if that would stabilize. And she had suggested some other things that were not compatible with nursing my youngest, who at the time was like 5 or 6 months old. And it just didn't sit right with me. I didn't want to wean Owen immediately. And so actually one of the midwives that I worked with suggested you, and I watched a webinar that you did, and I cried because it just resonated with me. And I thought, this is someone who knows what I need and what I want. So.
Awesome. Yeah. And of course, like, unfortunately, the traditional route is birth control pills is your only option. And then obviously, well, you have to stop nursing and there's nothing else to do. And it just leaves you feeling hopeless and just like not educated, right? Would you say uneducated about, yeah.
And it was totally like, let's try this and see what happens, as opposed to let's try and get to the root of what's going on.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And that's disheartening, and it just feels disempowering, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what are some of the physical changes that have happened from starting to work with me? And this has been 3 months, right? We were on the 3 month month.
Yeah. And so I'm now at 20, I've lost 20 pounds. And even someone in my dance classes, I teach dance, said to me the other day, I haven't seen you in this body. And I said, I haven't either. And it's true. I mean, even like looking back through pictures from when I was younger, I had like a different body than I have now. And I think and I'm not trying to lose the weight. I'm really just trying to feel healthy and amazing in my body. And I do. And my body, I think, is just coming back to like a normal state, or not normal, but like a healthy version that I maybe never had to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have bloating. I had bloating before, that it would literally look like I was 6 months pregnant some days. Like, and I haven't experienced that anymore. And I'm not, I don't, my eyes are brighter for sure. That's something that I've noticed. My skin is like more healthy and glowing. And
what around your cycles? Tell me about that. And
are you sick anymore?
Are you still like hunched over and missing half of your life and like throwing up?
No, it's like everything just, and my milk supply, it has leveled out without the support of supplements. And I'm feeling really healthy and
awesome.
capable.
Okay, so those are some great physical changes. You're seeing some weight loss. You're seeing improvement in, your cycles and the way that it was. You're nursing, the way your body's optimizing your digestion, your hair, your skin, your sleep, all that stuff is improving. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about the emotional part, which is probably, it was a surprise for you, right? That we were going to do that, and that you would experience, that you even needed to do any of that work, right?
Yeah, I went in thinking, I just need to deal with the physical stuff. I'm totally fine with the emotional. And probably it was, like 2 or 3 weeks in, I realized like, wow, I had some really deep realizations about my relationship with food, my relationship with myself. So I think I just was at a constant level of stress and anxiety for so long that I kind of forgot that it wasn't registering as stress and anxiety anymore, really. Now I'm able to like recognize like, oh, this is a stressful moment, and you've given me tools that help me to come back into my body and calm down. my husband has commented that even on my bad days, like I'm nowhere near as bad as I was before. Like I'm not snapping as much or spacing out as much.
Yeah, husbands love me. They love me. It's so funny because in the beginning when they're like trying to decide whether they want their wives to invest in this, I'm just like, dude, I promise, like you're going to be so grateful to have your woman back. Because, you know, the truth of it is, ladies, just a side pause, is that, you know, when we have babies or even with our hormones, so many things can change. And that woman that they met and fell in love with is no longer there, and they haven't changed because most of their hormones stay pretty constant, you know, unless they've got some deep stuff going on. But it's hard for them because their sex drive, everything is the same as when they met you, and they're like, yeah, this isn't what I signed up for, you know. And in some ways, and not that they don't love you, but I'm just saying it's a relief to feel like, you know, and we don't even know how much it's controlling and affecting our relationships and the way we show up there, and you know, just our reactions, and that they're like, oh God, what is it going to be today, you know?
Totally. Yeah, it was a strain that we weren't even, because he's super supportive, and we weren't really even aware of it until it got to the point where, like, I honestly have days now where I can't remember the last time I had anxiety. You know, it's like long spans of time between those episodes.
Yeah. And tell me about people noticing your spark coming back. Tell me about that. Like,
so, women that I'm dancing with are my family members. My brother came down to visit, and he was telling my mom, like, she just seems so happy, and like she's got her passion back, and she's like interested in what's going on around her, and you know, like engaging more. And I think that is because I've been practicing self-care a lot more. You know, I meditate every day now, and you know, I before, like, self-care seemed like this laughable thing that I'd get to at the end of my list, and now it's something like I'm actually looking forward to waking up early to start my routine in peace and
I love it.
And self-love.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit about your experience in the community of being in a group.
I think it paused.
What happened? I think the internet went out. But so just to reiterate, why don't you tell me a little bit about how it's been to work in the community with the other women, and just how that's affected you?
So I'll just say I'm a pretty introverted person. I was a little bit nervous about the idea of like group work. And it's been such a joy to get to know these women and to have, you know, these sisters that I can connect with. And I know that like I can post something and people respond. Typically it's not even just like a like or a, you know, heart or whatever, like people are engaging, talking, and I feel like I'm truly getting to know these women, and it's actually inspired me to connect with some of my friends that I haven't seen in a while, you know, like motherhood upside down. And so that's been really nice too, you know, and just like inspiring me to go out and meet new friends and make new friends. And
yeah, it's an important part of self-care is as women being in a tribe and having that feeling, and we underestimate it because we're so individual in our lives now. It's just like so separated, and never used to be that way. So what would you say this has been worth to you?
Honestly,
oh, sweetie.
So much.
Yeah.
It literally saved me. It pulled me back from a very dark place in my life. And I was struggling. I didn't even know it for a while. And then when I knew, I was so far gone. I felt like I didn't know how to come back from it. And I did. I'm doing it.
You are. It's beautiful to watch, and it's an honor for me to be a part of that with you. And you bring tears to my eyes just because this brings me so much joy, because literally, ladies, this is life-changing stuff. This is not just fitting in your jeans. Like, yeah, Jena feels better physically, but it's helping her marriage and her relationship with her kids and the way she shows up in the world. And like, this is your one life. Literally, we've got one life and we're wasting it, and we don't even know what it's possible to feel like, both physically and emotionally. And what would you say to anybody listening who is considering, you know, working with me or joining this program?
Okay, go for it. go for it. Like, no matter what concerns or fears or doubts may come up, or even if you think like I did, like, I'm just going for this one aspect, I don't need to work on the other. Like, go for it with an open heart, and you'll receive so much,
Yeah.
more than you even imagine.